Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. I hope that you're all well. As you know by now, my name is Mart. I am your host, and I do apologize if you can hear a very, very happy dog behind me just munching away on his chew. Probably the wrong time to give him one when I'm about to record a podcast, but we move, you know? First things first, I just want to give you all a very, very quick update on a few things before I get into this week's episode. And this is kind of the stuff that I would usually leave till the last minute. And, you know, people will listen to all the content, and then as soon as I start talking about stuff that I want to promote, they're like, nah, I'm not going to listen to this anymore. Next episode, and they skip. So, just a reminder that my Achieving Your Goals workshop on New Year's Day is available right now. You can either visit the link in my bio on Instagram or TikTok and just click Achieving Your Goals, or you can head to cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk, just hit Achieving Your Goals workshop, and you can sign up there. The early bird offer is coming to an end, probably the back end of next week. It's currently £20, it will be going up after that. And there's currently about 106 people, I think, that have signed up so far. So if you have signed up, thank you so much. And I am very, 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 very excited to run this workshop with you. We are going to achieve so much in 2024 together. And speaking of 2024, can you remember a few episodes ago, I think it was about 10 episodes ago now, I had the amazing Joanna Hunter on the show. She resonated with so many of you. So many of you actually asked me to get her back on the show to talk about stuff more. So you never know, could get her back on again in the future. But Joanna mentioned in that podcast episode that she ran a social experiment, and it was called the $1 Million Experiment. So basically what Joanna did is she got 4,300 people to sign up to this $1 Million Experiment. And it was basically to see if mindset, intuition, conditioning, all of the above, to see if that could help you make $1 million or £1 million in a 12-month container. So basically, I was speaking to Joanna the other day, and I got invited to her pre-launch party because she's running this again. And in this pre-launch party, she shared some of the stats from last time. She stated that 82% of the people that attended this experiment last time actually felt a huge increase in their mood in terms of what they can achieve in life, what they can earn, and their wealth and abundance mindset has just been transformed overall. So with all that in mind, Joanna is running this again. And guess what? Here's the best part. It is only, dun dun dun, if you live in the UK, £21. Can you believe it's only £21? If you live in the US or you live anywhere else in the world, it's classed as dollars, and it's $25, okay? So it works out and converts to £21. Now, for this £21, you actually get 12 months. So it's not £21 a month, it is £21 one-off payment in total. You are getting 12 months money mindset coaching, advice, a Facebook group, video calls, workshops, you name it. And you are going to get all of this for £1.75 per month. 12 months of coaching, £21 works out at £1.75 per month. I've signed up and I've joined, and I know, like, I've said this to all of my, my business besties, everyone that I know via WhatsApp that's interested in spirituality and meditation and mindset, and so many of my friends have joined up as well. So I'm excited. I know all of you lot are excited. I shared the link with my membership group last night, and everyone is just so excited. So this starts on the 1st of January. It runs until the 31st of December, 2024. There is absolutely no catch. There is no second payments. You are literally paying once and you are in this for 12 months. What have you got to lose? Yeah. 1 in 287 people that attended the last experiment became millionaires. That is better odds than the actual bloody lottery. Yeah. 1 in 287 people became millionaires within that year, all from just changing their mindset. So to sign up, again, the link is in my bio. It's in my TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook bios. Or I'm going to pop it in the show notes as well, because if you sign up via my link, like I say, you will get this for £21 or $25, wherever you are in the world. So that's about everything I had to mention. Oh, actually, I have had a restock this morning. So if you're listening to this on Friday, the 27th of October, I've just had a huge website restock. Feel free to go on there, cannycrystals.co.uk, use the word podcast, you will get 10% off. There is Moldavite from £15, and I know that it always goes really, really quickly, so I asked for so much more than I would usually. I spent nearly £4,000 on Moldavite this time, so please go and buy it, please support me, just so I can pay my bills this month. But yes, there is so much new stock. I'm looking at it right now. I'm sat in the office, and it's filled the shelves. It's just, I love it. It's just so beautiful, so sparkly. Can't wait for it to find its forever homes in you lot. So yes, thank you so much for listening to all that. And now I'm going to get on with the bloody episode. I just thought I'd do it the other way around because, like I say, I usually go on with the episode and then I find that people drop off in the last 2 minutes before I get all of that shite out. So yes, as you're listening to this today as well, Friday 27th of October, I will be in my adoption panel. So please, please, please cross some fingers for me. You know, pray to the gods, ask the universe that I will pass with flying colours. Please, please, please. Really, really would love to be an adoptive dad. So yes, today's episode, I've been reading a book. Can't remember for the life of me what the title is, and I don't have it with me. Well done, Mart, ever the professional. But it's basically all about the 33 laws of the universe. So the concept of the 33 universal laws, it's not a widely recognized or established set of principles in, the scientific or philosophical communities. But instead, it's often associated with spiritual, metaphysical, and New Age belief systems. Now, anyone that's read Stephen Bartlett's new book, The Diary of a CEO, he talks about the 33 laws of business. And it made me Google it one day just to see if this was a standardized thing. And I suddenly came across the 33 laws of the universe. And I was like, I'm going to read this book. So I started reading it. It might even just be called the 33 laws of the universe. I might be overcomplicating it. But basically, these laws are typically considered, guidelines for personal development, spiritual growth, and understanding basically the nature of reality. So the number 33 is not fixed. So it can vary depending on different sources and interpretations. But this book that I've read is the 33 universal laws. So all the origins of these laws can be traced back to a wide range of spiritual and philosophical traditions, such as New Thought, that kind of thing, various ancient mystical teachings. And they are often presented as a way to understand all the underlying principles that govern the universe and subsequently our lives. So the significance of these laws in people's lives, that lies in how they are applied and how they are interpreted within personal belief systems and spiritual practices. So we're going to basically look at why they have significance for so many of us, okay? So the first that I've wrote down here and I've made a note of is that they are guidelines for spiritual growth. So these 33 laws, they're often seen as guidelines for personal and spiritual development. So they're kind of providing us with a framework for understanding for the interconnectedness of life and the role of intention and consciousness and how that's going to shape our reality. The second thing that I wrote down is that it's very empowering. So when we understand and apply these laws, we might feel a bit of a sense of empowerment. So we can basically become a bit more aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions, and basically how these influence our experiences. The third thing I wrote was positive thinking and manifestation. So many of these laws, they emphasize the power of positive thought, intention, visualization, and how this is going to help us to manifest what we want in life. And that can lead to a more positive and optimistic mindset overall. So there are a few that we will have heard of here, for example, the law of attraction is one, okay? So we've all heard of that, but there are so many more. So I'm going to go into each and individual one. I won't go into them in too much depth because there are 33. So maybe if I stick to, maybe under a minute for each one, and you can Google them if you really feel connected to each one. So there are basically 12 overarching main laws, and then 21 smaller ones that come from each of these, okay? So the 12 main laws are, the first is the law of divine oneness. So this law is basically rooted in the idea that everything in the universe is connected. And it suggests that there's this kind of unifying force or consciousness that binds all of existence. So some people might see this as the universe. Some people might see this as God. If you're religious, for example, some people, they might just see it as this big floating man in the sky with his hands around the world, like I used to picture God. But it's basically saying that there's this unifying force that's binding everything in existence. So when you embrace this law, the law of divine oneness, you're going to develop a sense of unity with all living things and a recognition that your actions can have far-reaching consequences on the world around us. So it's going to encourage empathy, kindness, and it's going to give us a bit of a profound understanding that we are all part of the same kind of cosmic tapestry, if you like. We are all in this together. God, I sound like Zac Efron in High School Musical, don't I? The second is the law of vibration. So we know this. This law says that, every object and every thought emits a unique vibrational frequency. And it builds on the concept that energy that you put out attracts energy that you get back. Yeah. So it's like attracts like. So to apply this law, we've got to focus on maintaining positive, high frequency thoughts and emotions. And by doing so, you're going to be able to resonate with positive experiences and you're going to subsequently attract those into your life. The third law is the law of correspondence. So you might have heard people say, as above, so below. So it draws parallels between the universe and individuals. So that's kind of implying that patterns, structures, all the laws in the universe can be observed at different scales. So to understand that law a bit better, you've got to kind of explore how universal principles kind of reflect in your own personal life and your own experiences. The fourth one is the law of inspired action. Here we are. It's all about manifesting this week, ladies and gentlemen. So this law kind of underscores the significance of taking action, aligning that with your goals and intentions, because it's not enough. We know it's not enough to just merely sit and think or wish for something. You've got to actively work towards it. Just simply writing something down on a bit of paper or making yourself a vision board, that's only half the work. You've still got to put in the other half to meet the universe halfway, work towards that action, okay? Inspired action implies taking steps that come from a place of, inner motivation, passion, purpose, all of the above. So just make sure that you're taking those steps towards your eventual goals as well. The next law is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This is a bit of a mouthful, but this law suggests that energy is in constant motion. It's never sat still. It can always be changed. It can always be directed by your thoughts and your intentions. So by maintaining positive thoughts and emotions, you can transform, you can transmute all these lower energies into higher, more beneficial forms. Have you ever looked down what they called when you have it science in school? A microscope, is it? And you look and you kind of see all these cells and they're all bouncing around and moving off each other. They are energy. See your thoughts and your actions as those little molecules. They are always moving around. They are always bouncing off each other. They never sit still. They never ever die. Energy never dies. And it's always moving. And because it's always moving, we can transmute it into whatever we want. So we can transform our lower energies into higher beneficial forms. The next law is the law of cause and effect. So that's often referred to as karma. So people often say, you get what you put out. So it's basically karma. And it's just to remind us that every single action that we have on this earth has consequences. Okay. So if you do something good, you'll get something good in return. Won't be the same thing, but you'll get that good energy back. If you do something bad and negative in the world, you will eventually get that bad negative energy back in kind. Okay. So that's basically what it's saying. All our actions have consequences. So the energy that you put out into the world returns to you in some form. And recognizing that law, that encourages, responsible and ethical behavior. The next is the law of compensation. So that law is closely related to the law of cause and effect, okay? So kind of karma, like what we just spoke about. It suggests that the universe compensates individuals for their actions. So if it's positive or negative, when you do good deeds, you can expect to receive positive rewards. And when you act negatively, the consequences are likely to reflect that. The next law is the one that we all know and love, ladies and gentlemen. It's the law of attraction. So this law asserts that, like attracts like. So when you focus on positive thoughts and positive intentions, you're going to draw those positive experiences and circumstances into your life. However, a key aspect of applying this law is you need to cultivate a belief that your thoughts have the power to shape your reality. The next one is the law of relativity. So that law emphasizes that everything is relative and can only be understood in comparison to something else. So life's challenges and difficulties are relative to our own experiences and our own perspectives. And when you recognize this, you can better then handle and understand all the circumstances that you've been dealt with in your life. The next law is the law of polarity. So this law suggests that opposites are part of the same whole. And opposites basically exist to provide us with that contrast and that balance. For instance, light and dark, love and hate, success and failure, they're all interdependent aspects of the same concept. So when we acknowledge that duality, you can then better understand and appreciate life's contrasting elements and, why there is bad in the world or why there is dark nights for the light days, that kind of thing. The next is the law of rhythm. So this law asserts that life operates in cycles and patterns, much like the changing seasons. So we know this, from Kirsty Gallagher's book, Sacred Seasons. We know this from, what was that book that we did in Francesca Amber's book club a few months ago? Was it Do Less by Kate Northrup, where she talks about cyclical living. So there's all of that going on, okay? So there are times of growth, there are times of rest, there are times of transformation, just like the cycles of the moon, okay? That's all to do with the law of rhythm. And when we understand these natural rhythms, that helps us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease and patience. And then the final one of the last 12 laws is the law of gender. So this law says that, there are both masculine and feminine energies present in everything. And if you haven't already, go and listen to a previous episode of mine with Laura Lifts, where she talks about divine feminine energy and how to, up those feminine energies in your life, how to control them, how to work with them, that kind of thing. Because when we balance these energies within ourselves, that can lead to greater harmony and greater wholeness. So that concept isn't limited to gender. It just applies to the interplay of energies within us all around the world. So they are the 12 overarching laws, but then we have the 21 sub-laws, okay? So these are smaller things that sit under those 12 overarching laws. So the first is the law of perseverance. So this law stresses the importance of determination and persistence in achieving our goals. We know we don't get anywhere in life just by wishing it, going and doing one little action, and, it all just drops from the sky into our lap. We need that consistency, okay? Success often requires staying committed, even when facing those challenges, those obstacles, and those setbacks. And when we persevere in life, we can overcome challenges and we can reach our desired outcomes. The next is the law of belief. So this law holds that your beliefs significantly shape your reality. What you believe to be true about yourself, your abilities, the world around you, that can all have quite a big and profound impact on your experience in life. So to harness the power of that law, it's essential basically to examine and, if necessary, change those limiting beliefs that are holding you back. There's another great episode on this back in the past that I did about how to identify and overcome your limiting beliefs. The next is the law of expectation. So this law is what suggests that, what you expect is what you actually receive. So when you hold positive expectations and when you have faith in the fulfillment of your desires, you're more likely to manifest them. So that's the law that underscores the importance of maintaining a positive mindset and expecting the best outcomes. And what I will say on this before I move on to the next law is that, people come to me and I will teach them about manifestation and they'll say, oh, I've never ever manifested before. And I'll say, start with something small, and they'll be like, okay, I'm going to manifest £250, something along the lines of that. Or I'm going to manifest this new job. And before you know it, they have manifested it. And they have manifested it with such ease. They're like, wow, that was easy. On to the next thing. And then what happens is they struggle. They can't get like that next thing that they want off their list. And the reason is they haven't had any expectations for manifestation to work. Okay. So now they're putting so much added pressure on because they think, okay, this works. I'm going to use it for everything. And they put this expectation that it's going to be delivered in a certain way, or it's going to be delivered as just as quick a time frame as the first thing did. So manifestation tends to work for people the very first time, and then people put all these self-imposed limiting beliefs on themselves, and that's why they struggle to manifest after that. So the law of expectation governs basically the importance of maintaining that positive mindset and just expecting the best outcomes always. The next is the law of fear. So fear can have quite a powerful influence on our lives, and it's just basically saying that, focusing on fear can attract the very thing that you fear. And to mitigate that, we've got to basically confront and conquer our fears. We've got to replace them with positive thoughts, positive intentions. The next is the law of non-resistance. So resistance to negative situations and experiences can prolong or intensify them. So this law encourages letting go of resistance, just accepting what it is, and just kind of allowing the natural flow of life to take lead on your life and just deliver as it is. So I've said for months now, that I wanted a son called Jake because Johnny chose that name. Then all of a sudden I'm wanting like twins, like twin boys preferably, or a boy and a girl. And then now I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to release all resistance. I'm just going to release everything and let the natural flow of life take over. I'm going to be happy with whatever happens. I'm going to be happy just being a dad. I'm not going to put that added pressure onto myself of trying to manifest a certain name or a certain gender or, twins or anything like that. I'm just going to say whatever happens, happens. So when we practice that non-resistance, we can move through challenges with a much greater ease. The next is the law of forgiveness. So forgiveness is such a powerful and healing practice. It involves letting go of grudges, any resentment, any negative emotion towards others or yourself. Forgiveness not only benefits your emotional well-being, but it also helps you release the past and helps you move forward from that. We can't move forward if we don't release things, okay? The law of gratitude is the next one. So we know that gratitude is such a transformative force. And this law encourages regularly acknowledging and appreciating all the positive aspects in our lives. So when we cultivate gratitude, that can attract more and more blessings and abundance into your life. I won't bore you on that one too much because I know that we know all about gratitude on here, don't we? The next is the law of love. So last week I did an episode all about how, love is considered the most potent and positive force in the universe. And this law urges us to act with love and compassion and kindness in every single interaction that we have in our daily lives. Because when we do so, we contribute to a more harmonious and loving world. And in kind, we're going to get all of that love back. The next is the law of reflection. So this law suggests that your external reality is a mirror of your inner world. So it encourages all that self-awareness and introspection. It helps you to understand how your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs influence your experiences. And that's why I always say, it's really, really important to do all the shadow work, because people often think, shadow work's not important. Shadow work is basically just looking at what's going on internally. So when we journal, it's always good to, look at the shadow parts of us, the bits that aren't all light and aren't all happy and joyful. Look at where we're feeling dull, where we're feeling dark, what's going on in our body, what emotions are there, what can we then release and what can we work through, Life is all about working through what's going on the inside. The next is the law of patience. So patience is a virtue. It helps us to endure challenging times and trust in the unfolding of events. Like I say, nothing happens within seconds of you manifesting. We need to learn that law of patience. It's just a reminder that not everything happens on your timeline. Some things are worth waiting for. The next is the law of divine order. So this law proposes that the universe operates in perfect order, even when it's not immediately evident to us. So people always say, things happen for a reason. This law is just to encourage faith in the natural order of things and the belief that everything does happen for a reason and everything does have an underlying reason as to why it's happened. You might not be able to see it in the moment, but it will always have an underlying reason. The next is the law of harmony. So, achieving balance and harmony in all areas of your life, it's central to this law. It emphasizes, aligning your thoughts, aligning your emotions and your actions with all of your goals and all of your values. And that way you'll maintain a greater sense of equilibrium. The next is the law of abundance. So this law highlights the universe's abundance. It encourages adopting an abundance mindset where you believe that there are endless opportunities and endless resources available to you. So by thinking abundantly, you can attract abundance into your life. Can you imagine if we did all this money mindset work in, the Manifesting Money Masterclass, for example, and someone then came to me and was like, oh yeah, but if I get all this money, that means that someone is going to be going without. It doesn't at all. Just because you eat an apple today doesn't mean that there's some kid starving in Africa because you ate that apple. It doesn't mean that at all. There is an abundance of everything. There are limitless opportunities and limitless resources available to us all. The universe is so fucking abundant. Please get that into your head. The next is the law of intention. So your intention is a powerful force that directs your actions and experiences. And by setting clear, positive intentions, we give purpose and direction to our life. So this law emphasizes the importance of knowing what you want and working towards it with determination and focus. The next is the law of detachment. Okay, so detachment encourages you to let go of attachment to specific outcomes. So people always say to me, I'm going to win the lottery. And I'm like, don't be so attached on winning the lottery. The money can come to you in so many ways. If it's money that you want, money can come to you in so many abundant ways. You do not need to be so attached that you think that it's just going to come to you in a specific outcome. It means having the wisdom to set your intentions, take action whilst remaining open to all the possibilities that the universe might have. So detachment allows for flexibility and adaptability as we navigate the unpredictability of everyday life. The next is the law of divine timing. So that law suggests that everything unfolds at the right time and in the right way. So it's kind of like the law of divine order. So it encourages patience and just trust in the timing of the events of your life. Even if something doesn't happen according to your schedule, it might just be because it's not the right time for you or that the universe has a much better plan in store. And it's something that I end all of my my intentions with. So I will ask the universe for something and then I will say this or something better, because the universe might have a better plan in store for us. And I don't want to put a stop to that just because I'm so fixated on a certain outcome. Do you know what I mean? So this or something better. The next is the law of oneness. So this law basically reinforces the idea that all beings and everything in the universe are connected. It encourages a sense of unity, shared responsibility, and basically empathy towards all living things. You will gain empathy towards people because we're all here together. We recognize the oneness of existence. Then we can cultivate a greater sense of compassion and interconnectedness between everyone. So a lot of these laws are kind of overlapping with other ones as well from the overarching laws. The next is the law of action. So this law emphasizes that action is essential to manifest your desires. So positive thinking and intentions are important, but they've got to be coupled with practical steps and physical effort. To achieve your goals, you need to take that consistent and purposeful action. The next is the law of unconditional love. So it's a bit similar to the law of love, but this is unconditional love. It's love without conditions, okay? It encourages loving and accepting other people and yourself without judgment or conditions. And when we practice unconditional love, that fosters deeper connections with people. It contributes to greater harmony in the world, and it helps us to understand relationships better. The next is the law of resonance. So this law basically suggests that you attract experiences and energies that resonate with your own vibration. It encourages cultivating positive thoughts, emotions, and energy to draw in positive experiences and people. So your energy can influence and shape the whole reality that you encounter. And then the last one is the law of manifestation. So according to this law, your thoughts and feelings play such a fundamental role in creating your reality. So what you consistently think and feel can manifest in your life. And to harness that power, you've got to maintain mindfulness and a positive focus. You've got to live in the present moment. You've got to visualize the outcomes that you desire, and you've got to believe that they are attainable. Okay. So these laws, those 12 overarching laws and the 21 that sit underneath them, the 21 that sit underneath them do kind of intermingle into the 12 overarching laws. But can you see from all of that, these 33 universal laws are literally everything that I have taught over the last 106 podcast episodes. This would have been like a great episode to do for New Year's Eve to look back. But yeah, these laws, they all intermingle, and they are all to do with manifestation. They are all to do with mindset. They are all to do with well-being. And I think that if we abided by all of these laws, I know it's difficult, it's like easier said than done, do you know what I mean? But if we were to all live our lives by these laws, can you imagine how amazing our lives would be? So these laws are often used as guiding principles in spiritual and personal development practices. They offer a framework, like I said earlier, for understanding life, basically, the power of intention, the influence of our thoughts and our beliefs on our own experiences. And although it's not scientifically proven, they can serve as, valuable tools for personal growth. They can cultivate that positive mindset within us. So I hope that this episode put a smile on your face. I hope that you've really enjoyed it. And, I just hope that it's opened your eyes to a few things, because sometimes we do tend to walk around with our eyes closed, and it's not until something says something that we already know, like talking about the law of manifestation, we already know pretty much everything that I spoke about in this podcast episode, but sometimes it's not until it's said in a certain way that it actually goes into our heads. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please feel free to leave a 5-star review across all streaming platforms. You can do it on Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You just click the 5-star rating at the top and then choose 1 to 5 stars. Please choose 5. I'll be very upset if you chose 1. But yes, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to shop at cannycrystals.co.uk or visit cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk. You can use the word podcast. You'll get 10% off absolutely everything on there. Don't forget to use that link in the show notes as well to sign up for Joanna's $1 Million Experiment. And I will see you all next Friday for another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.